purpose of this video is to fulfill my human resource management subject midterm examination. So I already given 12 questions to be answered on this video. Let's take a look. Okay, first it is questions from chapter 1 with the title The Introduction and Historical Background. The first question is, what is theory, and discuss its role in analyzing and diagnosing organizational issues and problems. So, theory is a plausible explanation of a phenomenon, as Kurt Lewin said. It is a system of ideas intended to explain something to be explained. It has helped managers to derive multiple answers to a single question. Second, what important contributions did the Hawthorne studies make to our understanding of organization? So I assume you guys, as the human resource management students, are already known with the Hawthorne studies. So the study concluded that a more empathetic or people-oriented form of management leads to more productivity than a directive, authoritarian, and money-oriented form of management. Now, let's move on to the chapter 2 with the title The Context of Modern Organization. The first question is about discussing the specific technology changes that will affect me and my work role. So, I think the technology changes, most of them are affecting work role. One of them, for example, is the usage of internet. For the internet management, it is easier for employee and manager to receive and deliver tasks on time. On the internet also, it is provide an online discussion forum where employee and manager can do discussion wherever and whenever they want. Okay, the second question is about discussing the issues that global orientation raise for managers. Are those issues are problems or opportunities for modern managers? And how do I expect those issues to affect in my work career? Okay, based on the question, it is about a modern manager that in a global level. Based on my opinion, there are 4 issues that raise for a global level manager. First is the technology, of course. Okay, even though you are not a manager, you have to understand how to apply a technology. Second is the language. Since the case is about a global level manager, so you and me as the global level manager have to understand more than one language. Okay. Third is the culture. Why is the culture is one of the issues? As the question said that it is a global orientation for modern managers, right? So since this manager are in a global level, he or she should understand the culture because it will lead to the fourth issues, which is market preferences. When a manager can understand the culture, can adapt to the culture, he or she can sense the market preference of that place. Okay, now let's move on to the chapter 3 with the title Ethics and Behavior in Organization. The first question is about I have to review and define the ethical absolutism and ethical relativism point of view, and which position applies to modern ethical issues. Which one of them are applied to modern ethical issues. So, ethical absolutism, or known as deontological, holds that moral comments are true at all times. Meanwhile, the ethical relativism, or known as theological, holds that values are entirely relative to different contexts. Therefore, whether an action is right can depend on the other contexts, such as culture. In my own opinion, both ethical absolutism or ethical relativism, which one of them that applies to modern ethical issues is the ethical relativism. Why? Because this theory may consider the consequences of moral action when deciding whether they are right or wrong. The second question is about the ethics and behavior in organization. What is the implication and what is the effect that I expect from me in the future? So, the implication of ethical behavior in organization has a positive correlation with organizational performance. For example, if me as the manager can set aside of my egoism, it will shape me a striving for excellence behavior, where it will make me work with my heart and involves quality into everything that I do. Okay? Now, we come to the chapter 4 with the title of Organizational Culture. The first question is about the functions and the dysfunctions of organizational culture. So, the functions of organizational culture are innovation, emotion, persuasion, integration, performance feedback, and information sharing. I assume that you guys are already know it is by its name. Meanwhile, the dysfunction of organizational culture are selective perception, information overload, organizational silence, message timing, message filtration, message distortion, and semantic problems. Okay, each of these dysfunctions are related to each other. For example, me as the manager and you as my employee have a negative perception of me. So whatever I said, you will filtrate it as an order, not a help. Everything that I give to you, that I said to you, you will filtrate it as something that I angry to. That's something that I'm not angry to. If you know, if you get what I mean. Okay, the second question is about diagnosing the procedures of organizational culture and the major ethical issue that need consider when making diagnosis. So, the point of this question is about how you and me as the employee wannabe or manager wannabe who wants to join an organization or a company, how to diagnose, diagnosis the culture. Okay, so diagnosis can help decide whether the organization is place where we can do well, thrive, and grow, or whether it is an environment that will demand and cannot meet your personal goals. So the point is, you have to know whether an organization or a company can help you to improve and develop yourself, not this much with your personal goal. Now, this is this session for chapter 5 with the title Perception, Attitudes, and Personality. The first question is about define self-concept, self-esteem, and self-presentation. So, self-concept is a set of beliefs people have about themselves. The view that people hold of personality qualities. Meanwhile, self-esteem is the positive and negative judgments people have of themselves. And self-presentation is strategies that someone uses to affect how others see the way they are. Okay, I will take an example of me. The self-concept that I hold is communication and self-esteem. Positive self-esteem that I have for myself is that I always can see positive among negativity of someone. And then the negative judgments that I have for myself is that sometimes I'm not confident enough because I always compare myself. And self-presentation. And the third is self-presentation. It is what strategies that I use to affect how other people see me. So the strategies that I use is being cheerful. Why? Because by deliver myself as a cheerful person, it will easily for people to interact with me, to communicate with me, and it will attract them. Okay, now let's move on to the second question of chapter 5, which is the personality development theory. Which one of them is the most realistic, and explain why? So there are three personality development theory. First is cognitive, second is learning, and the third is operant learning. In my own opinion, three of them is the most realistic personality development theory. Why? Because the point of these three is to explain that the person have to develop their self. In the development process, they will face some events such as a stimuli from the environment and then social interaction. Now, we are in the chapter 6, the last chapter, with the title Organizational Socialization. The first question is about, I have to explain the three types of role behavior and which one of them is the most important for an organization and why. So, my opinion, the peripheral role of behavior is the most important. Why? Because this behavior rate some behavior necessary nor desirable. It is considered the good behaved to organization, but also essential to member. In other words, management give tolerance, but when everything gone wrong, they will take control of it. Okay, the last is about responses that people can have to organization socialization, and which from those respond most likely to be mine. So there are 5 responses, and I will explain the definition. First, rebellious. It is happen when the task cannot meet the demand. Second is the custodial. It conforms all requirement and accepting all aspects. Just take it all, something like that. And then third is innovative. Innovative might decide not to accept the way they are, not to accept the task that given to them. And fourth is the content innovation. It is when the employee can improve if there is a changes. And the last is rejects most part and even norm in the organization. So which one of the response most likely to be mine? I think I have 2 kind of response that related to myself. First is the innovative. It is when me can decide not to accept the way they are. It is when when I given a task, I can decide whether to not accept it or accept it. Because, for example, that task not meet my personal goal. And then content innovation. It is when an employee can improve if there is a changes. Yes, I can improve myself. I can adapt myself if there is a changes. Okay, that is the last question. So, it means that this is the end of the video. So, I really hope that my answers are satisfy you. And then thank you for all your time to watch this video. See you and good afternoon.